Hi, I'm Viviana with the Live Realty Group, and I'm a licensed real estate agent in Alberta. Nobody asked for it, but here are my opinions on DIY when you're buying or selling a property because yes, it does impact the value of your home, how quickly you sell, your municipal assessment for your taxes, and whether or not you might get sued. So this is our team's brand new channel. Thank you for joining me today. If you like what you see, please give this video a like, share it all over, and subscribe to the channel. So I'll break this down into two primary types of DIY, cosmetic upgrades and renovation. Cosmetic DIY projects focus on enhancing the visual appeal of a property. Think fresh coats of paint, stylish flooring, or upgrading plumbing and lighting fixtures, and these can absolutely help your property sell faster and make it more appealing to potential buyers. But it's important to remember that while cosmetic upgrades may make your property look more attractive, they don't necessarily add significant long-term value. Paint is a typical example. Sellers will paint their home to get it sold. It will for sure look more attractive than a dated home in listing photos. But if you walk through a house and you see paint drips on the flooring, roller paint blobs on the ceiling, sloppy cut-ins, unwanted texture, windows painted shut, or you notice whoever painted didn't use DAP or caulking on the nail holes and the baseboard gaps, it's just going to make any buyer want to redo the paint job properly, and in our world, that means money. I would hope it's common knowledge that good, experienced painters charge what they charge because typically their prep work is extensive and it takes a lot longer than the actual painting itself. The difference between a DIY job and a professional one always comes down to the level of detail and craftsmanship. So my unsolicited opinion on this is if you're a detail-oriented person with fine motor skills, carry on. You might actually net some money doing it yourself, but if this is the first time you're doing it right before you list your house and you just saw a YouTube how-to video, go ahead, but we can tell it's a DIY, and in our market, buyers are not going to pay you for it. When we talk renovation DIY, these involve more extensive changes or building things from scratch. These could include kitchen remodels, bathroom renovations, changing floor plans, or building decks. Renovations have the potential to significantly increase your property's value if you do it right, but these also carry a lot more risk. I'm talking about legal risk. So cutting corners on quality or using the wrong materials can have consequences, and you're probably devaluing your home as opposed to adding value to it. Attention to detail and quality workmanship is crucial because the way a DIY is carried out can have a direct impact on the assessed value of a property and the municipal tax you pay as a homeowner. When municipal assessors evaluate a property's worth, they take into account various factors, including the quality of renovations. There was a guy in Calgary in 2020 who fought his municipal assessment value based on the poor quality DIY work in there when he bought it in 2018. The Calgary Assessment Review Board took a look at the pictures and a home inspection report and saw that the windows were painted shut. The previous homeowner didn't even change out the 1989 furnace, and they used average quality materials, zero skill, and it was just overall a sloppy DIY. So the review board allowed his complaint. They recoded the renovation designation from extensive renovation to moderate renovation, and they reduced the assessed value of his home. So if you're going to DIY, at least make sure you make the home better, Consider this common issue, DIY decks. They might look great until a buyer does a home inspection. Inspectors and experienced real estate agents can easily spot if someone hasn't used joist hangers and hanger nails, and these things that aren't constructed properly or are built with the wrong materials, you'd want them corrected as a buyer because of how it could impact the rest of the house and safety issues as well. There was a court case in Vernon, BC that dealt with a deck that didn't slope properly at all, actually, leading to water pooling and rotting on the deck and water leaking all down the walls of the house. The owner sued the previous owner builder who built it for $97,000 and won. And that owner builder was a certified carpenter who built numerous homes in the past. So if he can get sued, so can you. Almost everywhere you live, you have a legal duty as a homeowner to ensure any work you do complies with safety codes. So in Alberta, we have the Alberta Safety Codes Act. Why does this matter? Well, this means for certain types of work, you'll need permits. Part of that permit process involves official inspections and approvals at various stages of the construction. So keep in mind that permits for certain types of work will only be issued to qualified tradespeople, like electrical work. Nobody wants DIY electrical work. Why does this matter? Well, if you proceed with a project that requires a permit and you fail to get one, you are setting yourself up for potential issues when you decide to sell your property. By default in your purchase contract in Alberta, you need to comply with with all municipal regulations and bylaws. I once had a seller who thought turning her carport into a sunroom was a great idea, and it looked great. It sold the house actually, but it turned out she needed permits for it. And to do that after the fact, she had to tear down and rebuild a lot of it for fire safety, and it was expensive. Not all DIY projects require permitting. The cosmetic stuff that I talked about before, such as painting and flooring, doesn't need a permit, and certain fence heights and deck heights might not require permits either, but for more extensive renovations, you might also need a development permit in addition to a building permit. So it's really essential to be aware of the permit requirements in your area and make sure you're in compliance. This step will save you headaches down the road when it's time to sell. Now, if you're a landlord or part of condo management, applying DIY solutions to problems without proper expertise can lead to legal issues. A recent case in BC is a fine example of this, where a condo owner took legal action against her strata and won. The strata had negligently repaired foundation leaks, leading to black mold and water damage throughout her property. To protect herself, the condo owner had been prudent enough to get a home inspection and quotes for remediation, smart, when she felt her strata wasn't taking her claims seriously. If you have professional recommendations to fix something, don't use volunteers and do it yourself. Pay a pro, get it done right the first time. In more extreme cases, a shoddy DIY might lead to injury or worse. If you think you can do electrical work and your house burns down and injure someone, you're in big trouble. So my unsolicited opinion on DIY renovations echoes a sign I recently saw. A business offers 3 kinds of services: good, cheap, and fast, but you can only pick 2. Good and cheap won't be fast, good and fast won't be cheap, and cheap and fast won't be good. So protect yourself. Make sure you know what you're getting into, and at the bare minimum, consult a professional for whatever you plan to take on if you're going to DIY. I'm Viviana. If you enjoyed this video, please like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.